Hello and welcome to Late Night Stories. For many years, Evelyn struggled with sleepless nights. The weight of time, memories of raising children, the laughter of grandchildren, and the quiet loneliness of an empty home pressed on her like the mountain air before a storm. Each night, she lay awake staring at the ceiling, hoping for sleep to take her. But the more she longed for it, the more it eluded her. That was until she discovered a guided meditation that led her mind and spirit to a place of perfect stillness. A small, cozy cabin in the Rocky Mountains. Evelyn's journey to the cabin always began with a deep breath. She would close her eyes, settle into her favorite armchair, and let the voice of the meditation guide lead her away from the worries of the day. Take a deep, slow breath in, the gentle voice instructed. Feel the crisp mountain air filling your lungs, refreshing your spirit. And as you exhale, let go of all tension, releasing it like autumn leaves drifting down a quiet stream. With each breath, Evelyn felt her body relax, the stiffness in her joints melting away. In her mind, she was no longer in her suburban home, but on a winding road leading into the mountains, where pine trees stood tall against a golden sunset. The car she imagined herself driving moved smoothly along the path, each turn bringing her closer to peace. After a while, the road led to a secluded cabin nestled between towering evergreens. Snow-capped peaks stood in the distance, their majestic silence reminding her of the wisdom that comes with time. She parked in front of the cabin and stepped out, her boots crunching softly on the gravel. The air was cool and clean, filling her lungs with the scent of pine and distant wood smoke. She walked toward the cabin, the wooden steps creaking gently beneath her feet. Inside, the warmth of a crackling fireplace embraced her like an old friend. A large, inviting chair sat by the fire, and a woven blanket was draped over its arm. She settled into it, feeling the softness wrap around her. The warmth of the flames and the gentle sound of burning logs reminded her of the times she had spent with her husband, long before he passed. Instead of sadness, the memory brought a quiet comfort. He had loved the mountains too. Perhaps, in some way, he was here with her now. Outside the window, the sky is shifting, the guide's voice continued. The sun is setting over a crystal-clear pond. You walk out onto the wooden dock, dipping your toes into the cool water. It ripples gently, reflecting the colors of the sky. Evelyn felt herself step onto the dock in her mind. The water was still, a perfect mirror of the fading light. She sat at the edge, her feet skimming the surface, sending gentle ripples outward. She watched as the sky deepened into twilight, stars beginning to flicker like old friends greeting her. The reflection in the pond was not just of the stars, but of herself. Calm, steady, at peace. She remembered what the meditation guide had said before. The pond is your mind. Sometimes it is stirred by the winds of worry, but beneath the surface, it is always still, always deep. She breathed in that stillness, letting it settle within her. As night fully embraced the mountains, she rose and walked back inside. The cabin was cozy, filled with a soft glow of lamplight. A steaming cup of tea waited on the wooden table beside her chair. She lifted it, feeling the warmth against her palms, inhaling the soothing scent of chamomile and honey. The guide's voice spoke again, gently leading her deeper into relaxation. You wrap yourself in the softest blanket, its warmth surrounding you like a loving embrace. The fire crackles beside you, steady and constant. Outside, the stars shine brightly, watching over you as you rest. Evelyn let out a slow breath, settling deeper into the imagined chair. The worries that had once kept her awake now seemed distant, as if they had drifted away with the last light of the sun. She felt the heaviness in her limbs, the pull of sleep welcoming her like an old friend. She knew she would wake up in her own home, in her own bed, but for now she allowed herself to be here, in the quiet, in the warmth, in the embrace of the mountains. She surrendered to the peace she had found, letting it carry her into a deep and restful sleep. And as the final words of the meditation echoed in her mind, "You are safe, you are loved, and you are at peace," Evelyn smiled, knowing that in this moment, she truly was. You've just listened to the story, The Cabin in the Mountains, A Journey to Inner Peace. Surely you're feeling lighter and more at ease now, aren't you? We would love to hear your thoughts on the story, so feel free to share your feelings with us. And without keeping you waiting any longer, we now bring you the next story. Sit back, relax, and let your soul drift into tranquility as you continue listening. As the sun sets and the world quiets down, it's the perfect time to pause. Take a deep breath and allow yourself a moment of peace. Life is full of noise, memories of the past, worries about tomorrow, and the ever-present hum of daily responsibilities. But tonight, you don't need to carry any of it. Instead, let's take a journey together. A journey to a place where the mind can rest, the heart can open, and the spirit can feel at ease. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of the ocean, where a strong, steady lighthouse shines its guiding light. Let's begin. For years, Harold had spent his evenings lost in thought, his mind tangled with worries about the past and uncertainties about the future. Retirement had given him more time, but also more moments of solitude, some peaceful, some restless. Lately, he had been struggling to fall asleep, his thoughts like waves crashing relentlessly against the shore. That was until he found comfort in a meditation that transported him to a place of stillness. A lighthouse standing tall on the edge of a quiet, moonlit shore. Harold's journey to the lighthouse always began with a deep breath. He would settle into his recliner, close his eyes, and listen to the voice guiding him toward peace. Take a deep, slow breath in, the meditation guide instructed. Imagine the salty sea air filling your lungs, refreshing your spirit, and as you exhale, feel yourself letting go of the tension in your body, like waves gently retreating back into the ocean. With each breath, Harold felt his body grow lighter. In his mind, he was no longer sitting in his dimly lit living room, but walking along a narrow path leading to the coast. The rhythmic sound of waves welcomed him, their steady ebb and flow soothing his thoughts. The night sky above was vast and endless, scattered with stars shimmering like old memories, each one a part of his long and winding journey through life. The lighthouse stood tall before him, its golden beam cutting through the darkness, guiding lost ships to safety. He had always admired lighthouses, their unwavering presence, their ability to stand firm against the harshest storms. He stepped closer, feeling the cool sea breeze against his face. You walk toward the lighthouse, each step bringing you closer to a sense of calm, the guide continued. The sand beneath your feet is soft, grounding you in this moment, reminding you that you are exactly where you need to be. Harold placed his hand on the lighthouse's sturdy stone wall. It had weathered years of storms, yet still stood strong, its foundation unshaken. He realized in that moment that he was like the lighthouse, steady, resilient, and still shining his light even through life's challenges. Inside, a spiral staircase wound upward, inviting him to climb. With each step, he felt himself letting go of an old worry, a past regret, a fear of the unknown. He ascended slowly, feeling lighter with every breath, until he reached the top. The lantern room welcomes you with its warmth, the guide's voice said. You step inside, feeling a sense of clarity and peace wash over you. The view from here is breathtaking. You see the ocean stretching endlessly before you, calm and steady, just like your own mind in this moment. Harold stood at the top, gazing out at the horizon where the sky met the sea. The lighthouse's beam cast a golden glow over the water, and for the first time in a long while, he felt truly at ease. The worries that had weighed him down no longer seemed so heavy. They were just ripples on the surface of a vast, steady ocean. "You are the lighthouse," the guide reminded him. "You are strong. You are steady. You are a guiding light for yourself and others." A gentle sense of warmth filled Harold's heart. He closed his eyes, allowing the sound of the waves and the steady rhythm of his breath to lull him into deep relaxation. The light from the lantern flickered softly, as if whispering that everything was exactly as it should be. As the meditation came to an end, the guide's voice led him back. "Take a final deep breath, carrying this sense of calm with you, and when you're ready, slowly open your eyes, knowing that this peace is always within you." Harold opened his eyes. He was back in his living room, the familiar walls around him, but something had changed. He felt lighter, clearer, like a lighthouse standing tall on the shore, ready to face whatever came his way. And another story has come to an end. Thank you for listening to our story. Up next, we have another wonderful tale to share with you. Sit back, relax, and continue listening as we take you on another journey. Life had always been a series of rushing moments for Margaret. She had spent decades balancing work, family, and responsibilities, often setting aside her own peace for the sake of others. But now, in the golden years of her life, she found herself facing a different challenge: restlessness. Sleep often eluded her, and when it did come, it was shallow and fleeting. The echoes of past worries and future uncertainties kept her mind racing long after the world around her had gone silent. One evening, as she scrolled through her tablet looking for a remedy to her sleepless nights, she stumbled upon a guided meditation titled "The Whispering River." The description promised deep relaxation and a journey into nature's tranquility. Something about it intrigued her. She put in her headphones, settled into her recliner, and pressed play. Margaret's journey began with a deep inhale, just as the soothing voice instructed. Breathe in slowly, letting the fresh air fill your lungs. Hold it for a moment. Now, exhale, releasing all tension. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a winding river, its gentle current flowing with ease. She closed her eyes and let the words guide her. In her mind, she was no longer in her quiet suburban home, but standing beside a beautiful river, its surface shimmering under the soft glow of the rising moon. The water moved gracefully over smooth stones, creating a peaceful melody, like a lullaby sung by the earth itself. Step forward, the voice continued. Feel the cool, damp grass beneath your feet. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of pine and fresh rain. The world around you is calm, and you are safe. Margaret could almost feel the earth under her toes, grounding her, reminding her that she was present in this moment. A gentle breeze played with the loose strands of her silver hair, whispering secrets only the trees could understand. She took another step forward, reaching out to trail her fingertips along the river's surface. The water was cool, invigorating yet soothing. "The river represents your thoughts," the guide's voice explained. "Some drift slowly, like fallen leaves floating with the current. Others rush, tumbling over one another. But the river does not resist, it simply flows." She watched the movement of the water, noticing how effortlessly it traveled, never fighting against its path. The concept resonated with her. How often had she resisted her own thoughts? How frequently had she clung to worries, unwilling to let them go? Now, find a smooth stone along the riverbank, the voice instructed. Margaret bent down in her mind's eye, her fingers brushing over various pebbles before finding one that felt right. Hold it in your palm. This stone represents something weighing on your heart, perhaps a worry, a regret, or an unspoken fear. Margaret instinctively knew what her stone symbolized. The loss of her husband, Robert, was something she had carried heavily for years. Even after all this time, she still felt the ache of his absence, the space in her life where his laughter had once been. Take a deep breath in, the guide continued. As you exhale, gently toss the stone into the river. Watch as it sinks, disappearing beneath the surface. Notice how the water accepts it without resistance. With a steadying breath, Margaret released the stone. She watched it drop into the water, creating ripples that spread outward before fading into stillness. A weight lifted from her chest, and in its place, a quiet acceptance settled in. The river carries what we let go, the voice reassured. It does not hold on, it does not question, it simply moves forward, always flowing. Margaret sat by the river's edge, allowing herself to be present in this moment. The worries that once seemed so large now felt distant, carried away by the current. The voice of the meditation guide softened, leading her into a space of silence, where only the sounds of the river remained. As she sat in the stillness, she became aware of something else. A presence, not physical, but felt. A warmth in her heart, a knowing. She smiled, realizing that Robert was still with her, not in the way she once knew, but in every memory, in every moment of love she still carried within her. Now the guide spoke again. It is time to walk back. Rise slowly. Take one last look at the river, knowing you can return whenever you need. Margaret stood, feeling lighter, as if years of held tension had been washed away. She took one last look at the water, grateful for its wisdom, and turned to walk back through the trees, the path now familiar, welcoming. As the meditation concluded, she slowly opened her eyes. The dim glow of her bedside lamp greeted her, but something was different. The stillness she had found by the river lingered within her. Her heart felt lighter, her breath deeper, her mind quieter. She took off her headphones, placed them on the nightstand, and lay back against her pillow. The world outside her window remained the same, but she had changed. For the first time in a long while, she felt truly at peace. And as sleep gently embraced her, she knew she would return to the whispering river again. It was always there, waiting for her.